being recorded.
Oh, okay. I got some rebound from me. All right, parents, students, everyone, welcome back. I hope you is it summer for all of you? I think a few of you are still a week or two ahead of your things, right? Are there anyone from CST time zone here? No, right? Um, yeah, Shreyas, all of them are local to Bay Area here. Okay. We had a few who wanted to come over and join us from CST time zone or Pennsylvania, from New Jersey. Luckily, I think they won't be able to make it. If not, that's fine. I'll share the links. Okay. So yeah, welcome back to another level 3 session. This is what I had in mind. It's more like an information session, and I want to gather your thoughts, your feedback, inputs, and what we need to do next. This is summer. I know there's a lot of more um, time left for the students. So the kind of thing that I was looking at for this particular bunch of groups, if I see they're all in 7th and 8th graders, right? So very soon you would be doing this tech fair, science fair projects. Devansh might be knowing. So Synopsys, Broadcom, Intel, all these tech fairs that happens at the school districts. So from what I have seen, I've been a judges to many over the past 3 or 4 years, and what I see is this. I've shared some of the projects to you. One of the things that I had in mind was to ensure that they understand some language which is easier to catch up and something that they can carry on to more towards learning on electronic side. We can't escape electronics in our everyday life because we will end up working with it one way or another. So with that, keeping that in mind, what I did is I wanted to get in touch with you and see how you feel about and what we have to do about the kind of programming. This one, if you're able to see my screen, you see my screen, right? Okay. So I asked Naila to do a little bit of research on Raspberry Pi, but this is one of the very famous microcontroller device that's out there for most of these basic science projects and technology projects. For example, what the kids have at the middle school and high schools they have been able to do is being able to sense the environment and being able to take some actions on that one. It could be as simple as using a different type of sensors. Like it could be a temperature sensor, it could be a pressure, humidity sensor, maybe a gyroscope, maybe an XYZ tilt, and so on. And some of the projects use some kind of motors to it, like a servo motor or a stepper motor. For example, those who are interested in doing, or at least the projects that I've seen doing with involving robotics, were the ones which need precise movements. Like we have to say, you can just type a few lines of code in the computer, say that my motor, this one has to turn exactly 90 degrees here, and then pick something or drop something, and so on. So these are all the stepping stones for bigger and higher projects going on. Many of this I think needs parental help too. So I'll go over that with this. So if you're thinking what a Raspberry Pi is, I already have a Raspberry Pi in my hand. It looks like that. So you can see that it has some USB ports to it, and then there's a Ethernet adapter to it, and you can see there's some power supplies on these end, and there's also a HDMI port. And then it comes with a built-in fan, and you can also see a GPIO pins. This is what we might be most likely using it for most of our projects. This is a way, these are the pins we can connect to a breadboard, and then we can make circuits out of them and use it for home automation and a few other projects. I'm going to share those details. So you would have a device something like this for yourself. This is only a credit card size device. It costs only $35 to $40. But we need some accessories like a mouse and a keyboard. You can use an existing one at home if you have it. And if you like display, most likely you might need a display. So you can use a HDMI port on this one. There's a HDMI port. It's not the regular HDMI port that you normally see. It's a mini HDMI to HDMI. So a small cable converter is needed for that. I'll share those what devices I need. So Yeah, these are all different parts of it. The Raspberry Pi has been a very interesting project that has started in back in UK, London. They wanted to give their university students with lots of computer device, but at the same time the cost was prohibitive. So they got this design. It has gone through 4 revisions. The current one is Raspberry Pi 4. So there's a lot of some of these details might look too electronic and stuff. I want to make sure that it is as interesting as for the kids as possible and keep the electronic side of it away. I still have to ensure that they understand basics of electronics, like what a voltage is, what a current is, and how we connect what we connect, etc. Okay. So with that in mind, uh, what I had on my mind is some of these program details that I had. So you know that I'm still working, not as a person who's for it's not. I'm not in the money for this one. Basically, I'm looking for any donations that you can give, and so the donation would be $251. The date and times that I'm thinking would be Friday 5 to 7 p.m. So that I can leave the Saturday and Sundays in case if you want to plan for any weekend travels, etc. for summer. And July 2nd is one of those long weekend. So that Friday, most folks will be off. So outside of that, every other Friday we'll try to meet. Um, Materials, as I said, we can have our own materials, buy our own materials. I'll share the list of materials that you need. The cost is not prohibitive. This is I would say you can spend like including the motors, the electric circuits, the small LEDs or more. All of them shouldn't cost more than like 150 or $200 in total, but you can buy it in stages. Not everything is needed on the first day itself. Okay. So not everything is needed first day itself. So the very first thing is you would at least start with a device like this. So I can help you get started, connected, can make the necessary connections, make sure that you bring up the board, and a few things you need to be careful about. Okay, later on when you come to actually connecting GPIO pins, we need to be careful about electric shorts. So you cannot do miswiring there because nothing here is really electrically shocking because this is only 5-volt device. So nothing shocks here. Maybe a small tingle if you have a really thin skinned person, which is unlikely. Yeah, a normal battery, a 9-volt battery is much, much stronger than a 5-volt device like this. So the risk of electricity is shocks are really, really less. Nevertheless, some people feel a little tingle if they do a wrong wiring, or if you have a wrong grounding to which you are connecting this device to, or even if you are a person who builds a static electricity. If you are a person who builds static electricity, you need to discharge yourself before touching it. Okay, I'm one of them, so I have to make sure that I touch some device and something before I come here, or just wear some like slippers or something which is an insulator. Okay, so one thing that I had to bring it up front is not everything here can be done like opening up a browser and bringing up a compiler or interpreter and start typing. So even before we do that, there are some things that parents' help would be needed. One of them I already talked to you that if miswirings and some things should not happen because the instructions will be pretty clear. We know what pin is what. Of all the 40 pins here, probably we'll use 3 or 4 pins most of the times, like the ground, the power, and one more pin. That's it. And the rest of them are needed if we want to plan to go high, more and more projects, like more voltage controllers and so on, which is not necessarily a kiddie stuff. It's not something that kids are proud to present in some kind of projects, school projects. So yeah, I'll share that. Probably I would have to get some waiver form also just in case. Like if you have any risk of it and you don't go about suing people each other. And I was thinking about actually coming like together and doing if it's a small group and if we are all in Bay Area, because that would be probably much faster to me than to say, okay, go and take this jumper wire, put it in this one to make your initial connections and so on. there are not too many connections to be made. First of all, there are not hundreds of them. There are just 3 or 4 of them, but it's much easier to show and tell. In case if you cannot come, that's fine too. So let me know what works for you. If you plan to do it to get at home, and if you're comfortable doing it, probably wearing a mask and other stuff, it would be much faster. However, we also need to have devices connected to it, like a mouse, like a keyboard, and another display device. I can arrange for a display device. I have like about 6 different monitors in my home. So I can share my things. As long as you have your device and you have a keyboard and a mouse, we can as well meet it at one place. Maybe my place. I'll make some arrangements for that. Or if you want to do remotely, and if you think you can do it by yourself, I mean, just looking at when I say about the instructions, that's also fine. Okay.
Mr. Naveen, just a small pause. If anybody have any question, let's give them a chance to ask.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let me know if you have anything.
Naveen, just like I don't know how the other parents are feeling, but what I'm thinking, maybe instead of like a Friday class, you can do it some other days, because usually if their kids are traveling or going out of town, then usually like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Monday. Usually parents like to utilize that weekend time, right? So in between days, I don't know if the other guys doesn't have any other schedule conflict, then I think that time should work better.
Yeah. I'm absolutely open. I mean, for me, Friday, Saturday, Sunday doesn't matter so much. I'm free all the time. But think about generally, if you want, it's a summer and parents might be planning for like Saturday, Sunday is a break time for them. See if they want to travel.
What I'm saying, like if they are going for like some weekend trip or something, then usually they start on Friday afternoon or something, right? So Friday evening, then they would, or so same thing, or maybe they take like a Monday off, then Saturday, Sunday.
So Thursday sounds okay.
This is just suggestion. I don't know how it's gonna work out for the other guys, but this
maybe we cannot solve right away here, but
sure.
Keep that in mind. Maybe Wednesday.
Maybe the other option, we can keep it like a Wednesday. Is that okay, Mr. Naveen?
I'm okay on Thursdays and Fridays than Wednesdays.
Okay.
So let
but
me
only
know.
evening time, right? That we're talking about.
Yeah, we are. I mean, most of us are in Bay Area, so 5 to 7 that's fine. Yeah. So if kids are planning to go sometime in the morning, they can come back and 5 to 7. We can sit together and do it.
Yeah, Thursday or Friday either works.
Yeah, it's okay. Okay with us. Yeah. We basically wanted to have a small. The number of students does not matter. Somebody who are more dedicated and want to be learning and want to be progressing. Because I have seen students who have done without much guidance at all, just by looking around, watching YouTube videos, getting stuff from the internet, ordering through their parents, and then done a fantastic jobs on that. I mean, with all the help that me and you are all giving, they should be able to do much better than folks who are doing alone. Yeah, the reason why.
Over the Zoom, does it work out now that it is all because related to wiring and making soldering and all, right?
Not really, Krishna. That's one thing. If we were to get into projects such as like any kind of soldering needed, for example, there are sensor hats that Raspberry Pi gives that can be used for like temperature measurements or humidity or some other measurements. It even gives a gyroscope and accelerometer on it. If we use any such thing, so it goes on top of this device. Okay, so in which case, although we can place it such that they place on the pins here, we need to probably solder a little bit, for which a parent's help might be needed.
Okay.
Yes, so I might be able to show it, but still it's not a good idea that students do it unless they have been working with soldering. I do have soldering. At least two or three of the students that I checked with last time during the judging time was whether they did the soldering and all the activities themselves, and they said yes. They have their own solder iron, they have their own lead, and they do all these things. Microscope. Maybe their parents taught them, but it might be a good idea that parents do it one time. It's only a one-time thing. right? Like once you're trying to put together. After that, we don't do it. There's nothing like taking on and off like that.
So,
Okay,
Mr. Navin, just a quick question here. Like, are we planning to have all the sessions in person, or you wanted start with online and bring them in person later? How do you want it to plan?
That's still under discussion at this point. I would say we can, I mean, at least not until the time we try to do like circuits, connections and all. It would be like at least the first 2 or 3 classes. The way I'm saying is we can do it by themselves. It's like picking up a device, connecting this, wiring, connecting a mouse and keyboard and displays and so on. So that should be easy. And then I'll get them started with something more simpler, like connecting a camera device and then trying to capture cameras and doing some basic stuff with it. So first 2, 3 classes, I would say it should be okay. But if we want to get into, let me share some of the ideas, okay? So there are tons of project ideas around it. I had my own list. Many of this, almost all of this can be easily done. And these two kit, at least this bunch have already gone through many of the level 1s and level 2s. So there's nothing bigger, fancy Python coding needed. We are going to be using a few modules that are built specifically Python, and Python is really good at managing these external devices. So not all of them we will be able to do. We have to pick a few, maybe 2 or 3, because each one of them is a project on its own. So if you have a specific kind of project in mind, something that involves more LEDs, for example, then you can go for a sense hat and do it. Or if you're a person who likes more of robotics kind, then you have to work with stepper motors and servo motors and so on. And if you are a person who like to do more with computer vision, then you would use more of Pi camera. So that's a small device. I had all of those somewhere here. So you get small devices like these two. For example, this is a small USB speaker. Right?
Mr. Navin, is it possible? Can you pin your video so if you're showing something, it's easy to show?
Okay. Right. Okay. So if we are going to be using some of these extra devices, then we need to buy them too. For example, take this case. Instead of just turning on a light LED on or off, you can actually, there are some projects. One of them, this is a beautiful project. It's called converting a given text into a Morse code, the telegraphic code, like dot dash kind of thing they used to use. We can do that using just a simple few LEDs. And the LEDs are very, very cheap. Most of this, like you can buy probably almost all of this in $100, $200 kind of thing. But we'll not do all of them. If you are interested, once we progress through the class for certain, like 4 or 5 classes, and you want to do a project, which I think you should be doing at the end of the class, then you can buy the necessary equipments and do it. What kind of projects we can do? Here are some of the examples. So camera is one of those small device, it costs about $10 or $11, small device that you can connect it to your board directly. And many projects involving cameras are either computer vision or use it for some kind of robotic movements. So if you're interested in building robots, and that's fine. There's a robotic kits. So you can assemble on your own. If you have a Raspberry Pi, you put the Raspberry Pi on it and control them. For example, you can connect the Raspberry Pi to the wheels. The wheels are nothing but controlled through motors. So you can turn left and right and so on. It's not difficult. So if we are looking for that, you need to buy motors. And there are some projects which are range finder. For example, if you are a person who want to look for like proximity, how far or how close an object is. Some of the projects that I have seen are like trying to do like a traffic light intersection simulation, right? So you can give some 4 different directions, and then each direction there is a sensor. which is actually measuring which device, which car came first, or maybe a train on a train track. So you may have to leave it on one. What else? So some other projects that can also be done are the home server, like home automation stuff, like controlling your lights, like dimming and dipping out your lights, or controlling the ambience and so on. There are kits from Philips. If you were to buy one of those home automation kits, and that's available in Home Depot and Lowe's, Philips kits, they are completely programmable. So you can connect it. There's a small little device. You connect it to your Wi-Fi router or your router, home router, and then these bulbs talk to those Wi-Fi over Wi-Fi, and we can program them. So all of this are programming itself is really small. Okay, there's not too many, not hundreds of lines of code, maybe 40, 50 lines of code, sometimes maybe 60 or 70. There's not too long, but to assemble all these things and create a solution is the main principle. How do we bring all this knowledge of, okay, Raspberry Pi, you know some Python, you know some LEDs. How do we bring and create a solution? There are some of the projects that they have students that I've also seen are carbon dioxide monitors, for example, smoke detector alarms. These are all small devices that cost like $10 or $12. We can do it. The number of sensors that are out there to sense the environment are like probably, you can think of everything, the pressure, sensor, humidity, everything can be measured. And all of them are small little devices that doesn't cost much. The other thing which doesn't need any external devices is a speech recognition. If you already have a Google account, and then there are Google speech recognition AI APIs that I can introduce you to. So those APIs, you can actually talk to your device, have the request go to Google, and the Google reply you back with an answer. So that can be done. I've already done that, and it's pretty good. I mean, it's just like Alexa if you have used it. So you can talk to them, it understands what you talk, and then everything that you talk will be translated and sent to Google, and Google replies back. All through an API. Just a few lines of code, and it does much really strong. Okay, so there's so many of these things on and off. So I'll just pause it here. I put some of the ideas that I had. One thing that I would want to make sure that this should be a really a dedicated bunch of students. So it's not like I tell and okay, I'm done. You should be able to do some level of research. Take me as a guide, like you're doing a project for your like university or something. You're doing a project, and you need to have a lot of things aligned in place. Keep me as a guide. So it's not that I say and only then you go and connect this or type this line of code. You have passed that stage already now, right? If you're coming to level 2 or level 3 now, then you're past that one. So I would love the students to be more independent, and then that makes this a much smoother exercise, and you'll have a more fun-filled summer. That's all I had to share with you. You share anything else that comes to your mind. I can help answer.
So when will this actual hands-on session will start as such?
I would say we can start as soon as we can have everyone the necessary circuits and boards. I'll share it in the next couple of days. One thing I have to nail down is what is that common set of projects everyone can do during learning, and what equipments are needed for it. For example, something like a speech recognition doesn't need any external device. Yeah, something like working with Minecraft. Minecraft APIs are really good, and it's Raspberry Pi is an excellent device to learn them. And that doesn't need anything. But if we are working with anything with, if you have one of those speakers, USB speakers, then also we can start soon. The first 2 or 3 classes, I would say it can be done without any external devices. And then at least by third or fourth class, if we have everything assembled, then we can start doing it.
Okay.
That's I'm also honestly, I'm doing this for the first time, although I've done many of these things on and off, on and off. Have it done by a student is a different thing now. I have to show them and they have to reproduce what I have done.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, just wondering how this. My only concern was about instead of having the in-person, because these sessions will at least require some sort of in-person hand-holding, right?
Right.
If you are there.
Yeah, if I'm there, I can show you, hey, take this and connect this. And
Yeah.
right. Otherwise, they might be looking for what is this pin number 12, and Mr. Naveen is asking, and that's figured. But then
Correct.
that's not that difficult either. As I said, there are only 4 or 5 different pins that we'll use in probably the entire exercise.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
this should be more like a ongoing journey, because the students are going from 7th and 8th, right? And beyond that, there's almost zero hand holding. All the high schoolers, that 9th graders and 10th graders I talk to, they have no hand holding at all. They are on their own when they do that. All they're requiring is some level of guidance from somebody who can help. You had a question, Devansh?
Yeah. So, I have a really like tight schedule over the summer.
Uh,
I can definitely attend classes in the evening and everything,
uh,
but in the final week, I do have some like commitments. So, are we gonna
mhm.
have like a final project on the last day or something like that? Or
We can, yeah, I would leave. It's a good question. What I wanted to do is there's at least one subset of projects that maybe 2 or 3 subset of smaller projects that we can all do together. And there's one that you can do over the summer. I know you are in a high school and you have too much more on your plate. Um,
I
yeah,
mean, if they have a genuine reason, maybe they can take an excuse. I feel like in Devansh's case, that's what I'm thinking.
yeah. For the rest of them, at least in 7th graders, right? I think they are all in summer. They don't have anything much. By the way, any travel plans anyone has during the summer?
Something probably maybe in the week, July 4th week,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
nothing else.
Okay. So yeah, I kind of accommodated that. Excluding that, we have, including that, we have 9 weeks, and excluding that, we'll have 8 weeks before the school starts in August 18th. That's the scheduled time, right? Um, yeah.
Yeah, other than that, it's pretty clear. So
So I mean, this one, how you are planning to like, everyone has to do their own project, or you're gonna make like 2 or 3 guys group and they're gonna work together and
That's a
then.
good idea too. That's a good idea too. Everything is up in the air right now because of all the COVID. I think the relaxation is coming in, but some parents are not wanting to get together yet. If you feel comfortable and you got your shots and you're feeling it's okay with the mask and all, you can 2 or 3 close by. Please do get together. That keeps the mojo on. I'm open to it. If you want to come to my home, feel free. I'm
Yeah,
okay.
we can do it in a backyard or in a garage with
Yeah.
the social distancing.
Yeah.
The main reason what I feel is I think in September or something, the science fair starts, engineering fair starts. So if they get enough information, have that confidence that they can start with, that's what Mr. Naveen's plan is.
Oh
So
yeah.
this will
Okay.
help.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing that. One thing you may have to do is check with your science teacher what kind of fair that they generally are they want their students to participate with, and check with them. That will also give an idea for you, like what kind of projects you want to make or what you can think of. So once you get past these basics, it's all about like bringing a new device or a new kind of equipment and then start assembling it, making it your project run. The last project that I did was underwater health, ecosystem health. Like it measures how much of the light is actually incoming for a certain ecosystem, like a reef, And then it also measured the water salinity. It's all done by eighth and ninth graders. So nothing fancy about it. So we only need to have the students understand the entirety of the project, what the solution are, the components needed, and then programming is one other aspect of it. All right. What I'll do is I'll share with you any sign-up sheets that you may have to do, and also the list of equipment. Let me know how many are like really interested, and make sure that you want to give this a try. Then we can get started. I'll share where you can buy these Raspberry Pi 4 and so on. Okay, Devansh, you had a question, sorry.
One last question. Are you gonna make a new Google Classroom, or are we gonna continue on the one we already have?
No, okay, good question. I'm gonna make another classroom, add all of you there.
Okay.
And yeah, we'll share our notes, what times, if anything is of comes out of your mind, maybe the date, the time, the equipment, any questions, anything, we'll feel free and discuss it. Keep it like a group that who are interested in learning, okay, progressing from one step to another, rather than like a teacher and a student kind of thing. Take more as a guide and ensure that you're successful in what you're doing.
Mr. Naveen, just this one, like, do you just want to keep like a, when is the starting date and the time, so that we'll know that when is that we are going to start?
I think I did share it. This is about a week of
Now we are thinking about Thursday, right? So you want to keep it as a Thursday 5 to 7 for now? I mean, at least the first class, because the first class is the one we want to plan for.
Yeah. So if it is Thursday, then we have to start this 17th. Okay. If it's 18th, why don't we do one thing? I'll add you all into the classroom. Let me know what times is okay. I know Ritesh said that Fridays want to be free. Actually, the 2nd of July, if you see Ritesh, it's a Friday, and it's actually that day. I actually skipped that day.
Okay.
Yeah. See, if you have any other Fridays that you plan to do, then that's fine. We can meet. It doesn't matter, once in a week, Thursday or Friday. Just want to let me know when you plan to buy. In a day or two, probably by end of day or tomorrow, I'll share the equipments where you can buy. You can buy anywhere you want, but there are certain retailers who does better than others, and one of them is Adafruit, and they have been the pioneers of Raspberry Pi equipment since a long time.
We'll do one thing. We'll just create a WhatsApp group for parents just to get the time and the date, and then we'll discuss and come up with that plan.
Sure. Yeah, I didn't hear from Singh Fateh.
Mr. Naveen, one question. Is there any other day we have other than Thursday, Friday, or?
I'm open, as I said. Weekends are also open, but then it's also gonna tie the parents on the weekend. You may normally want to be free.
Right.
Yeah. So if it's on a weekday, for the kids, it doesn't matter. It's Saturday, Sunday, they're free all days. So yeah, for now, I'm thinking Saturday, Thursday, or Friday is okay. But if you want to do it on a Saturday, Sunday.
No, I was wondering Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I mean, any other days or just
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays are gonna be difficult. Generally.
Sure, Thursday is fine.
Like Thursday and Friday is fine. But if yeah, I think it might be okay. Good idea to keep the weekends open.
Sure.
But then yeah, if students if I'm here, if students want to talk to me, that's definitely fine. So you know that I'm not really strictly myself limiting to this particular class times alone. I want to make sure that all the students are progressing one by one on their own time.
Yeah, I think in the interest of time, again, we're okay with Thursday, since Mr. Patel proposed Thursday, right? I'm sure then there are two. We could do the discussion on WhatsApp, but we know how this goes, right? There'll be someone one or two that the date might have not been. unless somebody has a challenge on Thursday evening, just please Thursday evening.
Yeah.
You just give a thumbs up. Whoever means Thursday evening is okay for whoever is ready on Thursday. Arjun, Neer, Utkarsh.
We are
Okay.
We are fine too for Thursday. Yeah.
Okay, I think most of them are good for Thursday. Neha, thank you, Neha.
All right.
Prasanna.
We'll start this Thursday.
I remember last year also we started exactly on 17th. That was our son's birthday. We started last year on the same day.
Okay.
No, we don't have to actually. Maybe this week we can do it on Friday if need. Ritesh, you are okay. We don't want to be starting on your son's birthday.
Oh no, that's fine. We don't want. That's fine. We are okay.
My comment was just to have like a general, and there's nothing.
Yeah, just for this week. Just for this week, we can do Friday. Then we can switch to Thursday.
Your son's birthday has a higher priority than.
No, that's okay. No, I was happy to start last year.
That's fine. Yeah. Anyway, I think as Abhishek said, from this week we can have Friday, and then going forward we can have Thursday.
We can switch to Thursday starting next.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah.
I just remember it was started last year on the same date. So I was thinking, wow, it's a good that we are again planning go.
I can remember. It's a day to remember. The class.
Yeah, that's.
Happy birthday in advance.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, the thing is in terms of projects, right? I think there's a fairly wide list. So if you're sort of circulating or trying to, the only suggestion I have is just do one with hardware and one pure software, right? Based on your experience, if you can narrow that down to say 2 or 3 that are hardware, 2 or 3 that are software, and just ask options from there, I think that may be easier.
Yeah.
Because everything looks interesting, and then but you want to mix the variety in a way that they get a holistic learning, right? So
yeah.
Leave it to you, but my sense is do the Costco model, right? Not give too much choice, because then we'll be lost. So.
True. I mean, the ones that I've done here is probably a year's worth of projects and each one of them has their own system. It'll take a few months to build each of them. But what I'm thinking is we'll start slow and do something like, look at this, the phone servers, these things doesn't need any extra equipment on at all, right? And if you have a speaker, we can work on straight away, nothing much needed. And if you buy a camera, we can do something like capturing images, resizing, comparing. These things it's also low cost ones. The idea is how far we have to stretch the Python learning itself, because we can go more on the programming aspects itself and bore them down, and they would not use it anywhere in an e-commerce application or a banking application, anything of that sort. Or we can give them a chance to use the same programming language to the ones that we have already seen the middle schoolers and high schoolers using, because there will be more. You would hear from your schools, from your son, that anyone wanting to participate in this synopsis fair, science fairs or tech fairs, projects and all. So take a look at this. Most of them are available online. Feel free to take a look at it. The projects are really various, not just on technology. They have done on many fronts, including science, chemistry, and physics, a lot of other stuff too. But I think if you are using in the Python, this at least on the ones which are programming side, students have done this one. Yeah, we'll keep this. We'll not get lost in this one. As I said, these are all like the random ideas and what are possibilities, some of the things that they can do, something not too much, not too less, something they feel good about achieving, so on. Okay, I'll circulate it. Please feel free to tell me if you have experience with it, like what kind of projects that you would want to see based on what you've seen on other, like a Broadcom Science Fair or Intel Science Fair. Many of these kids go to Los Angeles and they go to DC for their final presentation if they get selected. There were at least 3 or 4 kids who went from one or two from Mission and 2 or 3 from Cupertino, like last year, 2019.
In Milpitas also we know one of the students.
One of the students went to Los Angeles and then go to DC. they sponsor you. In fact, the money comes from National Science Foundation, and they are sponsoring many of the students, eligible schools, and who are eligible projects like this. Yeah, more details are there on a school's website somewhere. Take a look at it. All right, that's all. I want to be boring you here. So let's get started. I'll share, create a WhatsApp group and then a Google Classroom. Share your thoughts, and please go ahead and order one of these. I'll share where you can do that. Maybe buy it as a kit with a power supply and everything. So just the device alone may not be so much. You don't have to buy a keyboard and mouse if you already have a USB one, because it has a USB port, right? If you don't have a USB one, then you might need to buy that. All right. Yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Keep in touch. I'll
Unless anyone have any questions.
No, I just wanted to thank you, Mrs. Naveen, Mr. Naveen. We've been waiting for you to come back and teach with us. So we're happy that you're back.
It's me. It was like super busy. I don't know if I told you. I changed my job in between, and back in February, the startup that I was working on, they closed down the shop, and I had to I had to go and find another one. I went back to, and now I'm working for Cisco. This was my previous company I worked for, so I had to talk to them and do it, and doing kind of busy with all these things. But we'll keep this momentum going.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you,
No,
Mr.
thank you.
Naveen.
Thank you, Mr. Naveen.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you, Naveen. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Devansh has a
you.
question. We'll answer.
Devansh, you have a comment?
Yeah, can you post or just like send the slideshow to like
Yeah,
me? Yeah,
I'll
thank you.
check. Yeah, I'll send the recording. And don't worry, that recording has it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll open the classroom and all the links will be there. And even for parents also, we'll just keep the group, WhatsApp group. So that way both parents and students are in communication. What is that? In a communication group. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.